Hello guys, this is Madhu from AdiYogiAyurveda. Welcome to my podcast. I am a certified Ayurveda lifestyle consultant, Vedic counselor, quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, clinical master herbalist, Usui Reiki practitioner, animal Reiki practitioner, and a spiritual coach. As a holistic practitioner, I concentrate on mind, body, and spirit healing, using energy healing, herbal remedies, and Vedic sciences. Come check out my website at AdiYogiAyurveda.com. I put the link down below in the description. And let's get started. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful sunny day here in Chicago, Illinois. And this is Madhu coming to you from AdiYogiAyurveda channel on Madhu Pereira's show. Thank you so much for joining me for another podcast. Today's topic is calmness of the mind. So it's important to have a calm mind, especially during this ascension process, because there are so many factors that are trying to come at you. You know, the higher you go in the process of ascension, the more tests you're going to have, the more obstacles that's going to be thrown at you from the dark. And that's how it is, you know. It's like the prince had to get Snow White, and he had to do all sorts of things like that. You also have to go through all these trials to get to the path. I mean, not get to the path, to get to the destination. Okay, so if you look at all these ancient myths and stories, what is it about? It's about, they have to go slay dragons and do this and that to come to the, reach their final goal, to rescue the princess. Not that these princesses these days need any rescuing, but it's just an example. So to be in the frequency of 5D, which, by the way, stationed itself yesterday, 26th. Okay, so since yesterday, it was the 5D is pretty much anchored in the physical level now, and I've been feeling it pretty much stationed since yesterday, and I do see some interferences, especially from the dark side. So one of the things I want to mention to you guys is always make sure you have a shield on, and a shield is you have to make sure that you get the highest level shield possible for your. It's as you go up in ascension, levels of ascension or steps of ascension, I think you need higher and higher and higher and more stronger, more updated shields. So ask your guides, your higher self. And Archangel Metatron is saying right now, he will ask him and he will provide you with a good shield, because you need that shield. And make sure that you mention how long it is good for. I do the 24 hours so that we know periodically when you get up in the morning, put the shield on. And I also additionally call upon Archangel Michael to be in in the front, and then Archangel Raphael on the right, Gabriel on the left, Uriel in the back. I've been doing that since probably 2003 or earlier, and this is an ancient thing to call the 4 archangels around you. And then you can also, I learned this from Steve Noble, he calls Archangel Metatron to be above and Sandalphon to be below. So you're pretty much covered or cocooned with them, with the archangels. And I also, after I put the shield on, I call upon Archangel Zadkiel to fill the inside of my shield with his violet color flame, so that it's like whatever is negative, it's continuously transmutating and transforming into something positive. And then I also put the violet fire outside around my shield, so whatever shit that comes up gets burnt away, so it doesn't reach me. And I put the shield around my house, like apartment, around myself, around my pets. And then you can also put like additional shields around your community and your country, whatever you want. Use your imagination. Your imagination is there for a reason. So, but the point here is that you must make sure that you take adequate steps and precautions to secure your safety, so that you are facing less trials. So you're only facing what you're required to, not anything additional. Obviously, they're going to come, try to bring you down. Like, I see it all the time in my case. Like, YouTube is literally like every time someone subscribes, they cut the subscribers. They unsubscribe people. And they have it's like they've made sure that I'm not being found or whatever in the search engines, but people still find me, people still listen. So I'm just gonna wait it out. I'm gonna keep on keeping on. But the point of the matter is that things are gonna come to discourage you. If you look at your emails, or like if you watch YouTube, yesterday I saw that they do this thing where, like you're scrolling. When you log into YouTube, the first video is kind of like an ad or something, and then you can scroll down and like find things in your homepage. They use subliminal messages, symbols that you visually catch within seconds, and that works in your mind. The emails that they send you, like the spam emails, they work subconsciously, so you have to make sure that you understand it and get rid of those subliminal messages from your head. Just make an intention, and then your higher self will do it for you. It's like you have to say it, like you want this to happen out of free will, then they will remove it for you. But you can't just assume that they will do everything. You have to take the initiative and make the statement. So having said that, the topic we're on is calming the mind. So that is one factor that will help you to have less agitation in your life. The outside distractions that could be potentially, it's like a game. They have to do everything they can to make sure that you don't ascend. You have to do everything that you can to ascend. That's the reality. It's like a game. You gotta finish your levels to go up. Okay. And another thing is that it's always better when you wake up in the morning to meditate, and I've mentioned this before. And then throughout the day, whenever you feel agitated, it's good to listen to some binaural beats, like mantras, anything that will help you calm down. Okay, so the 0 point, the balance point in your mind is called samadhi, which is where you are able to, when you're like usually your mind, there's chatter, there's thoughts, you're constantly pulled from one thought to another, one thing to another. In a state of samadhi, you're more in a receiving state rather than pursuing state. You're pursuing ideas when your mind is just left alone, unattended, whereas in a samadhi state, you're more conscious of what's going on in your head. And you choose and train your mind to not waver or not wander around, not jump around. And you train your mind through this conscious way of like being conscious of it. You allow your mind to take a certain direction. It's like when you are creating your own brand as a business, like you're like, okay, this is the path I'm gonna take, and It's kind of like that. So when people say train your mind to think positive, it's basically saying be mindful and be conscious of what you're thinking, so that your mind is directed towards these positive aspects, which will bring positive aspects to your reality. Okay, so the mind is kind of something that is of the physical body, of the physical world. As long as you're only aware of the physical world and the limitedness of the physical world, that's how your mind is going to be operating, on that basis, on that level, right? So when you go into that stillness of the mind, you are made aware that there's something beyond the physicalness. There's more things beyond what you are aware of through your senses. Senses is sight. You know the 5 senses: sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing. I almost forgot my 5 senses. But so when you are aware of this availability of the rest of the universe, like when you're in the physical world, like when you're only aware of the physicality, you're only aware of the 4% of what is actually there, and then the rest, and then you're when you're in that samadhi, inner peace state, where you're at that 0 point and in a balanced state, you're able to understand more things, tap into that vastness of knowledge and information that may not be available to you when you're closed off to it. So when you're in that stillness, you're able to find solutions more easily, ideas more easily, and also you're receptive. Being receptive is that there's consciousness everywhere. There are ideas, there are thoughts. As energy is everywhere. So when you're able to be in that receptive state where you're not letting your mind run, but you're like, okay, mind, stay in one place, let's focus. You're catching these ideas, these thoughts, and the ones that are most beneficial to you will come to you and formulate as ideas, where you become inspired to take. The ideas become inspired action. Okay, and then you're also more perceptive to your guides' directions that they give you. The guides will say, do this at this point, and the divine timing is basically the right time at the right place. Because you're not aware of the different timelines, you're switching from different vibrations and frequencies that you're switching from throughout the day, you're not aware that something is the most perfect time. Perfect time is being in a certain place in your timeline, and at this certain frequency, it's kind of like a combination of which will give you the perfect time to start something that will give you the most beneficial outcome. So when your guides tell you, or when they give you something out of divine timing, it's because that circumstances are at the most perfect place in that time and space continuum, which you cannot perceive in the human level, which is why your guides are there to tell you, do this right now. Sometimes you have to wait for it because that perfect moment hasn't presented itself yet. So when you're in that receptive state, in that 0 point balance, the moment they tell you, you know to do it quickly, and you understand why. You understand through your feelings that this is it. This is the right way to do it. This is it. You have that feeling of a victory already. You have to engage your emotions, which is why the heart center is important. The emotions are the guidance. And I made a video about it last year, but I deleted my old channel, like the importance of emotions. But I think I do have the article that I wrote on my blog. It's very important to clear your heart chakra so that, and your womb space, the sacral chakra, because those two are like really pretty much like the important places in your body where you are able to express yourself, and where the emotions are playing an important role. So when you engage your emotions, it's very easy to kind of follow along. But the idea of being in that positive mindset is very important, because the moment you start manifesting, and the reason you may not be manifesting is because you may not have that constant stream of positive thoughts. Because if you don't have that constant stream of positive thoughts, you might manifest things that you don't want to. It takes just 1 second to have this negative idea, and it might manifest. So you don't want that. You have to really verbally say out loud sometimes. If you don't have, if you have this negative feeling and just keep nagging at you, best thing to do is listen to an affirmations video or say affirmations out loud, because the sound can overpower the thoughts sometimes. So when you say out loud verbally, I am like, if you have like a certain negative thought, say the opposite thing or the actual outcome you want instead of the fear. Just say it out loud, and so you won't manifest the wrong thing. And then just keep affirming that to you, and also say, I release the fears regarding this and this that I have in my heart, and then those will slowly get released. It's a training process. You have to train your mind and yourself to be in that mode. You can't automatically go into it. Like, yeah, I'm in a good state of being at this point, but any moment we can lose our ground. So it's always important to make sure that you continue to put efforts to keep yourself in that same path and that same frequency. And if you do fall out of it, there's meditations, there's affirmations, mantras, breathing techniques. There are so many tools available that can help you be back in the path. So it's all about training your mind to be calm. And one of the ways that it's very easy for your mind to get agitated, not one of the ways, there's many ways. There is music. You have to really pay attention to what kind of music you listen to and how much. I like listening to music, but I make sure I listen to it and see how it affects my mind, if it agitates my mind, if it makes my mind start like chattering. That's like giving into that false ego, the bad ego. You need ego to a point where you create an identity for yourself. But the bad ego is when you try to separate yourself from others because of fear. The fear is the base cause of your ego getting out of control. Fear of not being accepted, fear of what other people will think of you if you reveal your true self. So you create all these scenarios in your mind where you're like, oh, this is the reason why I'm better. This is the reason why I will be loved and accepted. Ego is the normal, or the healthy ego is when you know who you are, what your principles are, your personality. For example, your natal chart. I always talk about this. Your natal chart can give you kind of an idea of what kind of a personality you have that is suited for this life, for the karma that you have to work out, for the goals that you have to achieve. So for all the purposes, the type of job that you need to do, your higher self, or you formulated this perfect personality and this perfect scenario for the life's timeline. So you have, like, for example, you have certain principles, like you're a person who admires honesty, and that is very important to you. So that's one of your principles. You value it. So you value people who are straightforward and who will speak the truth to you. And then you do not like people who do not speak the truth, or who are not true to themselves. So that's an example, and that's kind of the good ego identity that you are going to employ for your purposes, not to create separation, but to let the world know, this is where I stand. This is what I will accept. This is what I will not accept, because this is who I am, and this is what I'm comfortable with. So it's kind of like creating your identity so you are able to engage with others. If everyone is the same, it's a really boring world. And then because you are so much into the truth, maybe you're a social activist, and for that purpose, you need that. That makes you have integrity. And for you, your integrity is very important, and that's like a fine robe that you wear. And the world sees it, and they admire you for it. And through that, you're doing a service. You see how it helps? Whereas the false ego would be like, oh, I went to this school, so I'm so amazing because I went to this top school. It's like that. So that's like kind of like, ugh, I'm better than you. So that's kind of feeding your bad ego. It's the intention behind your actions. It's the intention behind the thoughts that you have. If the intention is to live a good life and not put people down, not be in separation, but to offer your talents, who you are, for the benefit of all, without harming. Basically, just be of love, and the end goal should be not harming anyone. And then I think you have nothing to worry about. So when you have that type of principles where you are comfortable with yourself, and you really think about who you are and where you stand, what you stand for, and what really your purpose in life, when you find that, you find yourself becoming more and more comfortable, where you don't have to find excuses to show people, oh, this is what I am, and this is why you should like me, instead of being like, this is who I am, and I like and accept myself. It's okay if you like me. It's okay if you don't like me. There's free will everywhere. With that perspective, there's a more calm approach to your social arena, or calm approach to life in general. And that also helps you to be more calm in your mind, because you're not constantly in an internal turmoil where you're justifying your existence to yourself and to others. When you're in that state, you're constantly finding reasons why you're good enough. But just yourself being who you are, you're finding who you are truly, is good enough. Maybe it's not interesting to other people, but it's okay, because there are similar people like you. Not everyone has to like you. So that is one great way of finding calmness in your mind, and it does require overcoming your fears, because one of the biggest fears we have is abandonment, which has like the rejection linked to it. and the fear of not being loved, not being accepted, a fear of letting people know what you truly are about. Conquering those fears also will help. But coming into that stillness of the mind, the peacefulness, will allow you to go to the next levels. Okay, so in yoga, the next level is called samyama, which is samadhi, the 0 point, dharana, and dhyana, meaning focus and focus, concentration, and meditation. It's like you're in this 0 point state and you're able to focus on an object or a thought and meditate on it for a long period of time, which is how you gain higher knowledge and higher wisdom. This is an ancient practice. For example, Lord Buddha, when he was attaining his enlightenment, this is what he did. He just went on and on for long periods of time doing this. And first place you have to be is that 0 point, that balanced state of mind, which will allow you not to be distracted by anything that's surrounding you. So that's the next step. So if you have achieved that 0 point, that's what you need to concentrate on if you can. I mean, if you want to. So one of the topics would be I think the most fundamental and the most common meditations, like the first meditation people do is, who am I? The question, the fundamental question of who am I? What is my purpose in life? And that's basically what we're chasing around for. We're going around in circles and circles and circles to come to the point where we know what we're here to do. We know who exactly we are. Not what society created us and molded us to be, but what we truly like. Behind, when we let go of all our fears, we are able to see very clearly what we like and what we don't like, and what we are motivated to go towards. In my entire life, I never thought I would be going into the healthcare field. But here I am. I literally did not know. I was so freaking obtuse. I had no idea. Oblivious. Oh my gosh. So Captain Obvious, who is my main guide, Captain Obvious, let me know, this is what this is what you're going to be doing. And I'm like, what? Excuse me, what? Because I couldn't believe it. So that's the thing. I was so molded by or conditioned by my life, my experiences, socially conditioned based on the people I had in my friend circle or whatever it is. But the things that influence me to think that I'm not fit for the medical field for some reason. And then I realized, because they gave me the examples of times I tell people these home remedies and things that they can do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I do that. I do know. And I don't go to the doctor at all. I've always been using home remedies. And I don't like taking medicine, so I have these. I hate tablets. I think they're bitter and disgusting. So I would be taking home remedies. I don't know, for example, if I get a bad stomach, upset stomach, I would mix half a lime with seeds and some salt, mix it up, take a shot of it, and that's the end. Within minutes, the upset stomach, food poisoning is done and over with. That's one example. It's I've always been that way, and I just didn't realize it. There are so many things that if you really explore yourself with curiosity, you will find that the quirky habits that you have are actually to your advantage. And all this can come about only when you're at that samadhi point, or the 0 point, the balanced state of mind. The point of Ayurveda or yoga is to come to a sattvic mind. Sattvic mind is a mind that is harmonious. And the other two gunas are qualities. There are 3 gunas or qualities of the mind. It is the rajas, tamas, and sattva. So rajas is that agitated mind where you have 1,000 things to do. You want to go here, you want to go there, you want to, I have this and that and that and this. Your mind is a full list of things to do. You're stressed, you're aggressive, you're angry, you're irritated. You just cannot find calmness. Tamas is like this state of inertia, this kind of like this low point where you're not moving. Rajas is like the moving, like boom, 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 ping pong ball. Whereas tamas energy is like, it's like a rock, for example. You're just like stationed in one place. You're there, like a state of depression, inertia, stagnation, this darkness. The best way to describe it is if you are like depressed, you don't want to go anywhere, you don't want to do anything, you're just like, you are just sleeping. There's nothing wrong with sleeping. Sleeping actually helps to heal your body, but I'm just trying to describe the state of inertia. Sattva is that perfect, coming to sattva is gaining that perfect balance of movement and inertia. That's the first step. I know a lot of Ayurveda texts say like, or people say like, you have to move away from both of them. Well, there's actually not moving away, but just coming to a balance of the two, the rajas and tamas, because rajas is excessive movement, tamas is excessive inertia. The perfect balance, the sattvic mind, is you're doing the right amount of movement and you're also giving yourself the right amount of friction to not go over any limits. So if you're moving towards tamas or inertia, the stagnation, you need that quick jolt of rajas to come back to that state of balance. When you're feeling stuck, for example, in your journey, then your guides will give you that quick jolt or shock or whatever, or that idea that will get you moving. Whereas when you're moving too much, you will get this kind of this friction that will, in the form of like things not manifesting, or like nothing is like, it's not working out. So you're getting that friction to slow you down. So yet okay, you're going too much. So that's that balance and harmony. That's the true balance and harmony, where you are able to balance. So in your physical life, you cannot be 100% like going into meditation and pursuing without really considering your happiness. And this is what I've noticed with myself. I tried like completely not watching anything, any movies or whatever, listening to music. But it's hard because music is good and important for yourself, because music is a type of vibration, for example. So I find a way by listening to, like, sometimes I listen to Sri Lankan music because it's not too agitative. Like they're like, you can listen to the song and see how like the tone and the vibration is, and see like, oh, this might not be too agitating. But there are some certain music that are really, really agitating, that put you into that fast moving, like there's no rest inside you, that type of mode. Then yeah, it's better not to listen to those. But it's all about finding balance, Then I'm like, you know what? I can watch. I like watching Thai stuff. So I'm like, okay, Korean stuff are highly, highly mind fucked right now. I'm telling you, like I've been watching Korean drama since like 2012. And then more awakened I became the more I realized how they put subliminal messages in there, because I was watching this one drama, okay, and like back in a few months ago. Then in the morning, between my awakened and sleep state, like when I'm getting up, I'm still like kind of like, in that sleepy state, and I see these dreams, which are messages to me, like probably like the things that I'm supposed to do or learn. I heard this shamanic chant, and I was seeing myself watching this drama, and then what is subliminal, what is behind the scenes that you can't literally hear, but it's still below that megahertz level where you can consciously hear it, but subconsciously it goes into your being. I heard that chant very clearly. They have put a shamanic chant in there to get you hooked. I was just like, whoa. So I had to get away from watching Korean dramas, and the Korean music now, it's very, very dark. It's becoming very, very dark, because they're going commercial, they're going international, and you know what that means. So I said, okay, and I watch like once in a while, like this Hallmark movies that are on YouTube. I think they're okay, but I don't watch a lot of stuff, only when I feel like. My guides let me know, like, oh, you can watch this, and they direct me. So this couple of days ago, I watched this movie called Not a Cinderella type Hallmark movie, and that kind of brought out healing for me, because it's like that, both her parents died, and she had to go live her life with her uncle, like a Cinderella, and so kind of that brought me healing. So when I was watching it, I was like, oh my gosh, I was crying. So it's like, there's a purpose in watching everything. A couple of like if I'm directed to watch something, and if I feel like I need to get my mind off of too much of spiritual, like being out there in too much of being in the headspace spirituality, to bring myself back into physical reality, I would go and just kind of watch or listen to some music which are not agitating, and it kind of helps me to come into a balance. And this balance is very important. It's like whatever that makes your heart happy is what's important. Whatever that makes you happy is what's going to keep you happy, and that's being in a high vibration. Happiness is being in a high vibration, so that's pretty much what you have to follow. And that's what's going to keep you in the 5D timelines. And also, every day, don't forget to make the intention and say it out loud. I want to anchor myself. I would like to anchor myself into the 5D timelines. And then, whoever that you want to anchor yourself with, like my pets, so that is what I wanted to share with you today. The importance of calmness of mind. That's part of being conscious. That's part of conscious living, and that's where we are moving to. And that's how you can always check and make sure that you are in the 5D vibrations. They're already anchored in full time as of yesterday, which is what I've noticed. If anything comes up, they're just trials and errors. Like in the morning, I got this trial where it's like fears came up, and I had to bring my mind back to this balanced state to tackle this and say the affirmations out loud. If your mind is not cooperating, use the voice, the sound vibrations to overpower your agitated mind. So this is what I wanted to share with you guys, and let me know what you think and if that helped you. And let me know what are the things that you do to keep your mind in a calm state. Thank you so much for joining my podcast today. This is Madhu from AdiYogiAyurveda. I will talk to you next time. Have a wonderful day.